Hi, welcome to this demo of Spectrum Protect Plus version 10.16, the new EC2 support. In this demo, we'll show you how you can utilize Spectrum Protect Plus in conjunction with the Elastic Block Storage snapshots to create snapshots of EC2. I'll also show you how you can restore those back into EC2. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to do from the Spectrum Protect Plus user interface is register a EC2 account. So go into Manage Protection, click on Virtualize Systems, and you'll now see the Amazon EC2. So click on Amazon EC2. In here, you'll see we already have one existing account. We're going to show you how to create a new account. So click on Manage Accounts. There's our existing account that you could edit, or you could add account. The first thing you're going to do is give the account a name. This name can be whatever you want. It does not have to match anything in EC2. You can use existing access key information you might have saved, and if so, you would drop down and select that information. We're going to go ahead and enter new information. And so the access key is going to be a user on the AWS console that has specific policies associated. And so what we want to do is go into EC2 and verify the policy credentials that are associated with this user. So from the Amazon Cloud Services, you'll go into Access Management, and then you'll click on Policies. We're going to click Create Policy. Then you're going to click on the Visual Editor, and you're going to choose a service level. And you can choose all EC2 actions, and this will be a very broad, but it'll have all the correct permissions in it. Or if you want to be more granular, you can choose the specific permissions that are required. And I suggest you take a look at the Spectrum Protect Plus documentations for these specific permissions. Then you're going to click on Review Policy in the bottom, and then click on Create. Now we're going to have to assign this policy to a specific user. An access key will be created, and there will also be a secret key that's going to be auto-generated, and you'll need to copy both of those. If you go into this area here under Users, we can take a look at the user, and you will also see the access key. Just remember that the secret key was only shown when you first assigned the policy to that specific user. Okay, going back into Spectrum Protect Plus, here's where you'll paste the access key, and then below that is where you'll paste the secret key. And then you can go ahead and click Save. Now, registration is broken down by account, so if you had business groups who were all using Spectrum Protect Plus and who might have access to different AWS resources, you can register multiple accounts in Spectrum Protect Plus. For instance, if you had accounting, testing, development, they all might want their own Spectrum Protect Plus account. Once you click Save for this account properties, we will save that account as a cloud provider, and then we're going to add the regions to the inventory job, and we will run that inventory job in the background. Now this inventory will also be tied to the default hypervisor inventory. So each time we run that for all of the hypervisors, whether they're VMware, Hyper-V, or EC2, that inventory will be run again. Next, we need to look at the service level agreements. So if you go into Manage Protection and Policy Overview, we're going to create a specific SLA for Amazon EC2. This is because Amazon Web Services Elastic Block Storage Snapshot technology, also known as EBS, is what we're using inside of EC2 to create a snapshot of the EC2 instances, and that snapshot is stored inside of AWS. It is not offloaded to the Spectrum Protect Plus vSnap. EBS is a incremental forever type of snapshot where your first snapshot that AWS takes is the baseline, and then anything after that is a incremental. And all of that EBS technology is managed by AWS themselves. We're going to go ahead and scroll down here to the SLA policy screen. You'll see the existing bronze, gold, silver out of the box policies and another EC2 policy that we did create. To create a new one, click on the Add SLA Policy button in the right hand upper corner. You'll give the new SLA policy a name, and then you'll choose Amazon EC2 as the type. You'll be prompted for the retention period for the snapshot, and then you have an option to disable scheduling. This would only be used if you were running the schedule on an ad hoc basis only, or if you have another program doing the scheduling of these backups. So that would be another program outside of Spectrum Protect Plus. We're going to go ahead and let Spectrum Protect Plus do the scheduling. So we'll choose the frequency, we'll choose the start time and date, as well as the time zone. And then we can enter a snapshot prefix. By default, this will be SPP. You can enter something else if you want the snapshots to show up with a different prefix inside of AWS. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click Save on that policy. If you go back into the Amazon EC2 section, we're now going to assign the different instances to an SLA. The hierarchy for EC2 is going to be accounts, regions, and then the EC2 instances underneath that. With Spectrum Protect Plus, you can assign an SLA either at the individual region level, at the instant level, or we'll show you how to use a tag as well. You cannot assign an SLA at the account level. If you do assign an SLA at the tag level, this is the EC2 tags, which are going to be key value pairs that are assigned to the EC2 instances inside of AWS. And these tag values will choose all of the instances across the account that have matching tags. And those will be then backed up by the SLA that you associate those with. Now you might want to assign regions to different SLAs. And so for instance, if you had a region that was in Europe, maybe you want to assign that to an SLA that kicks off when it is midnight somewhere in Europe, versus if those regions are somewhere in the United States, you might want your SLA to kick off the snapshots at a different time. So we're going to click this instance. So go select SLA. We're going to choose this SLA, and we're going to save that. You'll then see underneath the SLA policies that now there are a total of 2 instances registered to this SLA. And you can see the last time that this SLA was run and that it was completed successfully. You can kick off an on-demand backup for all the instances associated with this SLA by going into Actions, Start. If you want to kick off a on-demand backup for an individual instance, click that instance and then click Run. If you choose an instance that is not associated with an SLA, you cannot do an on-demand backup. You'll see that the run is grayed out. Okay, down below we can see we kicked off that backup, and if you expand it, you'll get information about exactly what is happening during the backup. Basically, when you look at the progress, you'll see that we are first going to go out and discover the VMs, then we're going to discover the attached EBS volumes, then we'll go ahead and resolve all of the entities and take a snapshot. And finally, you'll see that that snapshot was successful. And then you can scroll through the SLA policy to see the outcome of the snapshots. If you want to do a restore, if you start out on the left-hand side of the Spectrum Protect Plus user interface, select Manage Protection, then Virtualize Systems, and then Amazon EC2. We'll click on Snapshot Restore. This is going to take us into the Amazon EC2 Snapshot Restore interface. We're going to drill down and choose to do a restore from the US-East 2 region. The restores are going to be an all instant level restore, which is basically equivalent to our all clone mode, where we'll be creating a copy of the instant when we restore it too. You're also able to select for restore specific EBS volumes to an existing EC2 instance. We're going to choose to restore the bin win instance, which is a window instance. So we'll click on the plus sign next to that instance, and you'll see it show up underneath the to-do list over there. We'll then go ahead and click next. You're going to pick the version of this instance you want to restore. In this case, we have 2 snapshots available to restore from. So we're going to choose the first one here and then click next. This is where it gets a little different from other hypervisors. You're going to choose to either restore it to the original availability zone or to an alternate availability zone. If you do choose the alternate availability zone, that will still be within the same region. We'll go ahead and select that. Now you need to choose that destination. Now notice you could choose the original destination, and the reason you might want to choose the original destination even though you said set alternate destination is if you wanted to choose the same subnet. Because subnets are specific to the availability zone, you do have to choose a new one. As you saw, when we chose the alternate availability zone, you could choose a completely new availability zone and a completely new subnet, or you could put it back into the original availability zone but choose a different subnet. So you do have some choices there. Go ahead and click next. Now you have the option to rename the instance. By default, it'll be the instant name -clone -a timestamp. Now the name of the instance don't have to be unique on AWS, so you could give it the same name, but for clarity, we're going to go ahead and take the default, choose next, and then you're going to review these options and click submit. You'll see a message coming up that the job has been submitted and that the job can be reviewed in the Running Jobs tab, so go ahead and click OK. If you go to Jobs and Operations, and then click on the Running Jobs tab, you will see this restore out there. This was an on-demand restore. If you scroll down, you'll see the status of the instance that is being restored. Okay, if we take a look at EC2, if you go to EC2 and then Instances, you'll see the new instance, the bin win clone instance, is out there. It's currently initializing. You can look at the status of that down below on this screen. And if we give it a few seconds here, you'll see it up and running. So in summary, I have showed you how you can take snapshots of EC2 instances. You can do that either based upon the region, or based upon an individual instance, or based upon tags. I showed you how you can assign those to SLAs. When these snapshots occur, they're being taken in AWS using the Elastic Block Storage snapshot technology. These snapshots copies remain inside of AWS, but you can issue a restore from inside of Spectrum Protect Plus. And when you do the restore, you can restore that either to the same region or a new region using either the same subnet or a different subnet. Thank you very much.